We're continuing to digest a mammoth investigative report from the New York Times detailing 20 years of Donald Trump's tax returns and tax information before and during his presidency, revealing that in some years the president paid only $750 in taxes the year that he won and the first year of his presidency. In 10 of the last 15 years, according to the Times, he paid no income taxes, apparently, as he reported to the IRS, because his businesses did not make enough money to pay to the IRS. This is a topic of very high interest to the House Ways and Means Committee. It has been trying for some time to get the president's tax returns. Joining us now is Democratic Congressman Lloyd Doggett of Texas. He is a member of the Ways and Means Committee. His district stretches from San Antonio to Austin. Congressman Doggett, good evening.
Good to be with you.
In a statement tonight, you referred to the president as a taker, not a maker. You also went after Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin in a hearing last spring to try to get him to answer as to whether or not he had a responsibility, a statutory responsibility, to go after the president's tax returns. I'm sure that this New York Times report is some vindication for you, but what's the next step? Where does this go from here?
Well, the New York Times has done an extraordinary job. They've really accomplished what the Congress was unsuccessful in doing, and that is to get us the information to show that Donald Trump hides his tax returns because he doesn't believe in paying his taxes. He believes in living off the taxes that other people are paying. It would be hard to find an American taxpayer who has paid less in income taxes than Donald Trump has. So we really see what a fraud he has been with reference to all of this. In the Ways and Means Committee, initially, I sought broad discovery of his tax returns. The Ways and Means Committee ultimately, 6 months into this Congress, decided to have a much more narrow inquiry about the important issue of how the audit is done. The New York Times has gone in a much broader way, and they tell us much more about Donald Trump. I think that one of the issues that will be before the Congress this very week is what happens about these gimmicks called loss carryovers that allow for carrybacks and allow for avoiding taxes. We included a provision in the relief legislation that the House passed back in May to repeal a section of the law that is the very type of thing that Donald Trump has relied upon. That's something that mysteriously appeared in the Senate bill, just like some provisions for real estate promoters mysteriously came in at the last minute in the Trump 2017 tax law. So I think we need to look more closely at how Donald Trump has manipulated policy while he's been in office to benefit himself, not just the money that taxpayers have had to pay out, but the money he's avoided in taxes. There's a great deal of work to do, but this week I hope we will at least stand by our decision in the House to repeal this loss carryback provision that would allow him to dodge even more taxes.
Let me get to a piece of the statement from Richard Neal, a Democrat from Massachusetts who chairs the House Ways and Means Committee. The statement reads, in part, quote, "Now Donald Trump is the boss of the agency he considers an adversary," referring to the IRS. Quote, "It is essential that the IRS's presidential audit program remain free of interference. Today's report underscores the importance of the Ways and Means Committee's ongoing lawsuit to access Mr. Trump's tax returns and ensure the presidential audit program is functioning effectively without improper influence. I remain confident that the law is on the committee's side and that our request meets the standard the Supreme Court set with its July 2020 rulings. Our case is very strong, and we will ultimately prevail," unquote. That is a statement from Chairman Richard Neal, a Democrat of Massachusetts who chairs the Ways and Means Committee. Congressman Doggett, what is your #1 question now after this New York Times report? What's the gap now in your understanding between what we read in the Times now and what you would like to learn if you had the actual documents in your hand?
Well, certainly I agree with Chairman Neal. I think it is important to be sure that the audit function is done correctly. We know that Donald Trump hid behind the audit, but we're unsure how he has been able to, perhaps to manipulate that audit since he hired Secretary Mnuchin and hired the IRS commissioner. But beyond that narrow question of how the audits function, we need the rest of the tax returns. The Times wasn't able to get the last 2 years. We need to know what role Donald Trump and his administration played in including special tax provisions to benefit him and other folks like him, multimillionaires, in the 2017 Act and in the act that is before Congress this very week. We don't need more of these special interest provisions to benefit those who are not out there struggling to keep food on the table, but are doing really well, as Donald Trump claimed to be. And then I think the whole question of, given that it's our national security, our homeland security, here's Donald Trump ranting and raving about immigrants. There are many immigrants, including even some who lack proper documents, who paid more in taxes during much of this period than Donald Trump paid. I believe the President of the United States has a responsibility to help finance some of our government, not to just live off the other taxpayers.
Congressman Lloyd Doggett, a member of the House Ways and Means Committee, Democrat from Texas. Congressman, thanks very much.
Thank you. Thanks so very much. I do think he needs a refund on that $70,000 for he paid for his haircuts. I don't think he got his money's worth, but everybody can decide that for themselves.
You're trying to get me in trouble. I'm not going to take the bait. Congressman, thank you very much for talking to us.